Now then, Dr. Stephen Fear, who's often referred to, of course, as the phone box millionaire due to the way he created his first business. He was just 14, and from a phone box where he did it on a Bristol council estate, has become a patron of the charity Emmaus. It was announced today, and delighted Stephen is with me in the studio. Really good to see you.
Good to see you too, Geoff.
You well?
I am. I'm very well, thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Why have you taken on this role as a patron of Emmaus?
Well, I think it's an important charity. I think it's one of the most important charities. It focuses on the individuals that have spent, in some cases, many years on the streets and homeless. And for me, you know, it means quite a lot. Homelessness isn't a lifestyle choice. It's something that happens to people for all sorts of reasons, and clawing their way back and recovering from a period of sleeping in the cold and wet isn't easy. So that's why I think it's an important thing.
Tell me more about your understanding as to the many reasons as to why people actually become homeless. I mean, I see people, I've got two kids myself in their mid-20s, and, you know, I look at these people who are homeless and think, goodness me, they've got a mum and dad somewhere. Just your perception of how it all happens?
Yeah, I think, well, for me, I think there are many reasons, and obviously people often think of drugs or alcohol, but those are not the only reasons. There's all sorts of things break down. Many of our soldiers, many of the military that return, go through a period of homelessness and find it very difficult to get their way back from that. And I always think when I'm walking along a street, you know, if you see someone under a cash point at 2 o'clock in the morning in the freezing cold and wet, as I said already, it's not a lifestyle choice, but also to remember that they are someone's brother, son, sister, daughter, mother, father, whatever. Someone somewhere probably almost certainly does care about them, but they've lost contact for some reason.
Yeah, we'll talk about what, you know, Emmaus do in a moment and the difference you will make in a moment. But in terms of the kind of prevention-cure scenario with homelessness, it's a huge topic, very deep topic. I mean, prevention is always better than cure, isn't it? It
is. I mean, I think... excuse me, Geoff. With the military, particularly with soldiers returning, I'm not certain enough. I was patron of Heropreneurs before this, and I'm always very sad to think that people go out, they defend their country, and when they come back, there isn't enough help for them to readjust back into society. We've got various businesses around the country, as you know, and sometimes we use homeless people that were homeless as site security, and in that way we can offer them somewhere to live, i.e., you know, on site, and they can get a job with us and things like that. I mean, at the moment, just so that everyone listening knows, we don't have any vacancies because but we have just employed someone only today in exactly that situation. So, but the cause of homelessness, and then the cure. There is no real cure. We can only keep on putting sticking plasters over the problem, because the problems come up mainly and often through circumstance, and we can never govern what circumstance that might be. It's a deep subject, as you say. But one of the things I will say is that there's a serious shortage of affordable accommodation throughout the UK. Key worker accommodation, affordable accommodation for people. And if there were more, then maybe it would assist some of the problems.
Without getting into the politics of it, is it the government of the day's responsibility to address that? Yeah,
absolutely. But I also think it was the government of every day's responsibility. Yeah. And it isn't just this government have the... No, I mean, it's governments over the last 50 years. We haven't been building enough houses. We suffer, in my opinion, from a lack of joined-up thinking. It's a matter of trying to link it all in, because it matters to all of us. And I don't think enough thought has gone into it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Tell me about the work that Emmaus does for these people who are homeless. What do you do?
Yeah, well, what we do, Emmaus basically in the UK is there are 24 communities, 24 homes. In Bristol, we look after 20 companions. All the people are called and referred to as companions, and they work within the business of Emmaus. And Emmaus in Bristol has got a fantastic new shop. We like to refer to it as our superstore, but it's a lovely shop just off Stokescroft, and it sells all sorts of things donated by the public. It's a really brilliant shop. It's not just another charity shop. There's lots of things there, furniture, all sorts, CDs, fantastic collections of records, vinyl and CD, all sorts of stuff. Easily accessible on Wilder Street, at the Stokescroft end of Wilder Street. Public donate the furniture. It comes into a warehouse at the back and is then displayed in the shop, and the companions work within that business. So we might get, someone might donate 10 broken computers, as an example, and they would get repaired by companions that have that ability, because, of course, homeless people come from all walks of life. There are solicitors, there are doctors, there are dentists, and, of course, there are forklift truck drivers, computer operators. I've come across all of those type of people that have become homeless. Stockbrokers, people running successful businesses that lose it all. For various reasons. So it's quite an amazing and widespread issue. And they bring a lot of skill, but for some reason, they're not using it now. So within the Emmaus community, if someone comes to Emmaus and we're able to accommodate them, they work within the business and become part of what is effectively a big family. And they're expected to abide by the rules, and there are some rules, because with no discipline at all within the house, it just wouldn't work. So, but everyone's happy with that.
Okay, so you say the house. I mean, there's a place in Bristol where people stay.
Yes, the 20 companions that are part of the Bristol home are they live as part of a family. Some cook, some clean. There's a dog that lives there and as well, and they go to work every day, driving the van, helping collect furniture, repair furniture, put it together, sell it on the shop floor, display it. So they're getting back into society through
a normal existence, almost.
That's right. Yeah, a normal existence with the support of a family. You see, if I can just explain, I mean, someone's been on the streets for many years. They've lost touch with their family. In some instances, they lose the ability to communicate because they've been sort of frozen out. So by coming back in and into a family environment, non-related family environment, they are able to readjust and get back into society.
It's a fascinating insight. You're a patron. What level of hands-on relationship will you have with Emmaus in Bristol?
Well, I'm not very good at hands-off, Geoff. That's my problem.
You're a doer, aren't you?
Yeah, I like to do things. So I want to try and help the Emmaus community to, number one, expand, maybe help with a few more companions, allowing more people to come into the home. And the ultimate aim, of course, is to get people back on the way forward so that they can maybe eventually create their own home again, and get placed somewhere, get a house, get a flat, and get a job. And those things happen within the Emmaus community.
Do you sit down, have 5 minutes, have 10 minutes with him and her and talk about your experience? And can people relate to you? I mean, yours is an extraordinary story, but you're now an incredibly wealthy man. Can people relate to you and your story, where you come from and how you did it?
Yeah, I think they can. I hope they can, because I'm just the same.
You're a very ordinary guy, if you don't mind me saying.
Well, I just, that's the way I am. I don't, I treat everyone the same. It makes no difference whether they're, what walk of life they come from, or where they are at the moment, because I think the important thing to remember is...
It's a good starting point, that, by the way.
Well, I don't think it matters where you're from. I think it matters where you're going. Yeah. And so, everyone comes from somewhere and everyone is going somewhere. So that's the important thing. And I think I relate to them. And as a child, because I suffered from a serious hyperactivity, I was often going missing. So I would, age 6 and 7. I mean, when I was 7, I turned up at Buckingham Palace, having got the train from Bristol. because I used to blend with families to get onto public transport. So I would wait for 2 or 3 families, and I'd just go in with the family, and everyone thought I belonged to someone else.
Little fare dodger.
Yeah, fare dodger. Sorry about that, British Rail. But I ended up at Buckingham Palace. And
Wow.
but the reason I'd gone was because I'd read in a book, I was an avid reader, and I'd read in a book that I wanted a German Shepherd dog. And because I didn't have a dog, and I read somewhere that the Queen kept corgis. I know that sounds strange to the listeners, but actually, for me, both dogs had ears that poked upwards. And I thought I'd go and ask the Queen whether what corgis were like as a dog. Because at the time my parents said I'm not going to have a big dog. So
You're not going to tell me you got inside Buckingham Palace at this point?
No, I never. The police,
Okay,
after
then.
about 8 or 10 hours, the policeman wondered why this skinny kid with curly hair was wandering about outside the gates. And obviously by then I wasn't with anyone particularly. And then I was, they asked me to, and got hold of Bristol, and the news had gone out that a 7-year-old boy had gone missing, and back I'd come to Bristol, yeah.
Well, that's good you did.
Yeah.
Kind of briefly, what's your ambition for the charity over the next, say, 5 years? Where do you hope it is in 5 years' time?
Well, I'm there only as support for the people. I want to support the chief executive, Richard Pendlebury, and everyone else involved with Emmaus in Bristol and Emmaus nationally. Anything I can do to promote the charity, help the charity, persuade the public to donate to the charity, because these guys are the companions I'm referring to, the previously homeless that we're now helping. They don't just receive without giving. They're givers too. It should be remembered. They are working. They do work within the community. So it's an important charity for that reason, because it inspires people to get back into society. And so it doesn't do society any good to have all these casualties. It's important.
And if people want to support you supporting Emmaus, how do they get in touch with the organisation?
Well, the best thing is to look on the Emmaus website. So this is put Emmaus into Google, and everything will come up about Emmaus, or Emmaus Bristol. Into Google is probably the best way.
EMMAUS is the spelling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then visit the shop and go in and buy something, buy anything. It's all bargains anyway, and it's beautifully displayed. The shop manager there, Gaynor, makes sure that it is. And, and if you have anything to donate, if I can just say to listeners, if you have anything to donate, please look at Emmaus, and it doesn't matter what it is, let us have it, and if we can make use of it, and it supports a really worthwhile cause.
Brilliant. Stephen, fantastic.